How we doing, Eagles fans? How we doing? Listen, today is a tremendous day. It was raining. It was thunder. It was storming. Trees were coming down on Sunday, but now it's Monday, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. All right, number one, I had the pleasure of going last night to see I believe they call them the threes or D3 football kids last night. Congratulations on your victory. I was most impressed with the dance team, especially Mrs. Holland, who was out there riding the train. I saw you come on ride the train. I was out there in all the rain, and I was having a blast. So congratulations there, and good luck for your playoff run. Now listen, as we're coming to the end of this chapter, we have to get ready for a test. Now, moms and dads, granddads, grandmas, aunts, uncles, the kids have my notes. They have my notes right here, plus I'll send them out to everybody electronically. All right, we're going to go over the things that they need, and also keep in mind, moms and dads, they had some opportunity to earn some extra free points with an easy quiz, and also they had to make a photosynthesis map. Okay, the very first thing, moms and dads, everybody at home, all living organisms have five basic needs. They are food, they are air, they are shelter, they are water, and sunlight. Those are the five basic needs that living organisms have to have, all right? Now, these five basic needs, whether there's a lot or little, will determine how healthy or unhealthy an ecosystem is. For instance, you have a lot of food, you have a lot of water, you have a lot of sunlight, you're going to have a very, very healthy ecosystem. If you have very little food, you're going to have an unhealthy ecosystem, all right? Right here is one of my favorite pictures. This is Yellowstone. Moms and dads, if you ever have the opportunity for a summer trip, please take your family there. It is breathtaking. That's the only way to describe it. The Anderson family's been there a couple times. We've actually driven there every time we've been there. If you drive it hard, just like Smokey and the Bandit, you can be there in about 23 hours. Do it. Your kids will love it, especially now they're old enough to understand it and appreciate it. Ecologists, this will definitely be on the test. Remember, moms and dads or kids at home, anything that's in purple is definitely going to be on the test. Ecologists, there are men or women who collect data on an ecosystem. Notice I said men or women. Men or women. Women can be ecologists just as well as men. Actually, my son Mitch started off at Kent in ecology. All right. Now, the ecologists create two ways to determine how matter or energy is passed through an ecosystem. They are a food chain, which is one to one, kind of like a chain, or a food web, like a spider web, all right? Okay, so a food chain would be sun, goes to flower, goes to grasshopper, goes to a black racer snake, goes to a hawk. That's a food chain. This right here is a food web, where you have a whole bunch of different ways that food gets passed through an ecosystem, all right? Food chain and food web. Most importantly, you need to know that a food web is more realistic than a food chain. A food web is more realistic than a food chain. All right. An ecosystem includes all the connections between organisms, the living things, and their environment. Right here, this is a picture of the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon up in Wellsboro, PA. About this time of year, it's absolutely beautiful with different colors of the trees. Connections on how they help includes the plants, the rocks, the soil, the water, and other materials. This is a herd of elk. And one connection that all ecosystems share is our friend, the sun. And I think the kids put down, I asked them to do a sunrise or a sunset. This is obviously a sunset over the Pacific Ocean. The main source of energy for all ecosystems is our friend the sun. And plants use sun as energy to make food, just like Anderson Me uses energy to make chocolate chip cookies, which are my favorite. I love some chocolate chip cookies. Brownies aren't too bad either. Just as a picture of a field of flowers to understand photosynthesis, which is getting ready to come up. Plants get eaten by animals, and animals get eaten by other animals, and this is how an ecosystem changes energy. All right, the building blocks. Most animals digest their food or break it down into smaller pieces. They use these pieces to fuel their bodies, to help them grow. We talked about dinner. We talked about their favorite restaurants, wherever you get hungry, things that you need to eat. All right, animals require special nutrients or building blocks to grow and develop their bodies. And once again, you don't have to worry about copying all this down because everybody has a copy of all these notes. A little bit of SeaWorld right there. You got two orcas trying to catch that seal right there. All right, consumers. Now, moms and dads, everybody at home, anything that eats is a consumer, which means they must eat to get energy. Mitchell, my son's a consumer. Aubrey, my daughter's a consumer. My wife's a consumer. Maureen, I'm a consumer. Anybody who's physically watching this right now, you are a consumer. You already had lunch. You might have had breakfast, dinner. You have to eat to get your energy. Animals are very different from each other, but they're all consumers. Animals are consumers. They must eat to get energy. Consumers must eat to get energy. Okay, and here's examples of consumers in South Park. You have deer, turkey, ducks, hawks, rabbits, vultures, raccoons, possums, squirrels, coyotes, owls, turtles, and frogs. And every now and then, moms and dads, you get a couple black bear to come through South Park. And primarily they use the railroad tracks as a way to go from ecosystem to ecosystem. All right, and then consumers are divided into three groups: herbivores, carnivores, omnivores. Herbivores, they only eat plants. They have large flat teeth. You know what? I'm going to put that in purple because I know that's on the test. They have large flat teeth. And examples of these are elk, buffalo, deer, cows. All right. And also on the test, the herbivores' eyes are always on the side so they can always scan the horizon looking for predators. And this is a video of a predator. I believe this is a picture of an elk. Carnivores are animals that only eat meat. They use their speed, their camouflage, their sharp teeth to hunt animals. I'm going to put that in purple. Ooh, not underline. I don't want that. I need color right here. So that's going to be on the test. An example of carnivores. Also carnivores, their eyes are always in the front so they can always focus on the one prey that they're going after. Examples of carnivores are sharks, killer whales, lions, wolves, rattlesnakes, and alligators. You can put down crocodiles. Now that's a pretty awesome picture of a wolf, and I believe this is a video of a pack of wolves taking down a buffalo in northern Colorado or northern Canada. Omnivores are animals that will eat both plants and animals. Primarily, a large percent of the people in the world, maybe let's say close to 95% of the people on planet Earth are omnivores, which means they eat both plants and animals. Now you're like, oh, I only eat cereal with no milk. Even if you do that, you are still a omnivore because that plant was at one time, or that cereal was one time a plant, which makes you an omnivore. These are these are big grizzly bears. I believe that's in a field of elderberries, and you can tell they're getting big, getting ready for winter. Okay, producers. Producers are plants. Plants are producers. They make their own food. Strawberry plant right here. All right, plants come in different shapes and sizes, different colors from corn to green beans to roses to the prettiest violets. Plants have one thing in common: they are producers. They are producers. Another beautiful field of flowers. That's definitely in the springtime someplace. Irises are up, tulips are up. That's absolutely beautiful. Okay, plants are called producers because they produce flowers, fruits, vegetables, and nuts in a process called photosynthesis. And currently my babies are working on a poster for photosynthesis. So they're doing a tremendous job, and I appreciate them every day. And for photosynthesis to take place, they need sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide. Sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide. And they make two things. They make sugar, or their fruit, and oxygen. Oxygen that we breathe every day comes from our friend, the plants, producers. All right. Plants take in water, carbon dioxide, and sunlight. Plants produce sugar and oxygen. Now, if you see how many times that was down, you better know that for the test. Here's a picture of the map they're actually making. Sunlight, carbon dioxide, and instead of carbohydrates, we use the word sugar. Decomposers, these are animals, or organisms, I should really say, that break down dead and decaying organisms, all right? Dead or decaying matter. Organic matter is any matter that was once alive, now it's dead. Right now, I'm organic matter. A tree's organic matter. If you cut down a tree, that tree starts to rot. Even though it's dead, it's still organic matter. It's going to be broken down and returned to the soil in time. Bunch of loggers right here. Without decomposers, ecosystems would soon fill up with the bodies of dead animals and plants. And decomposers are the cleanup crews in an ecosystem. So they're the organisms responsible for breaking down a deer that get hit by a car that died in the woods. If it wasn't for them, there would just be dead animals, dead bodies all over the place. Decomposers come in all shapes and sizes. For example, you have vultures, crows, catfish, and crabs. Speaking of crabs, Gianna Vias, all-you-can-eat crab legs on, I think, Wednesday. I don't know why that popped in my head. I saw crabs. I'm like, oh, crab legs, Gianna Vias. All-you-can-eat Wednesday. I think it's either $49.99 or $59.99. All you can eat. So, another decomposer people don't realize: mushrooms. They are the same mushrooms that go on your pizza or in your salad. Are actually decomposers. They break down and take in nutrients from plants and trees. That's why if you ever have a tree and it is dying, you'll see mushrooms around it. One of the main decomposers in the world are beetles. They're found everywhere except the Arctic and Antarctica. And the most famous beetle is the dung beetle. They break down animal waste, and exactly what it sounds like, dung beetle. Yeah, it's not a very good sight, but they're needed for the environment. They're needed for the ecosystem. Ecologists estimate that dung beetles are responsible for eliminating 80% of the waste in some ecosystems. Waste management truck, eliminating the waste. Okay, Aldo Leopold was a famous person. You're going to need to know him. And just for the record, you're going to have to know this quote. When I see land as a community to which we belong, we may begin to use it with love and respect. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be on the test. I'm going to say write down Aldo Leopold's famous quote. And it's Monday now, so you're going to have time to practice, but you're going to have to say this. Aldo Leopold, he was a famous teacher, author, and environmentalist. He first helped develop the first national forest in Gila in New Mexico, which I've never been to, which is on my bucket list. Gila National Forest in New Mexico. He started that in 1924. Gila National Forest. There's a whole bunch of pictures of it. He was the first man who wanted people to take care of land because the land takes care of us. He worried about pollution and overhunting and the responsible use of the forest. Now, even though he was environmentalist, he still believed in hunting. He believed in keeping a balance of the animals that remain in Gila National Forest. For instance, if there was 35,000 elk one year, he didn't want that number to get more than 45,000 because then food and resources become a issue. He wanted to keep it right around 30,000. So he did believe in responsible hunting, which means if there's a cow, which is a female elk, and a bull, you don't shoot the cow, you shoot the bull, because you have to have the females in order to have the babies. So he was very responsible, and he taught about environmentalism and making sure you took care of the planet. All right. He also made a famous book, The Sound County Almanac, which talked about all his beliefs. All right, these are food chains in South Park. For instance, they all start with the sun, the lavender, the grasshopper, the frog, the black snake, or sun, the sunflower, the deer, the coyote, or sun to hydrangea, to rabbit, to a fox. These are all food chains in South Park. Here's another one. Sun, red oak, squirrel, great horned owl, sun to daisy flower, to hummingbee, to unfortunately a possum. All right. Producers are plants that make their own food, and plants create a process called photosynthesis. And once again, we have that again. Photosynthesis equals sunlight plus water plus carbon dioxide, and it requires the ingredients sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. And that is the end of our notes. Now listen, start studying. It is Monday. Don't wait till Thursday for the test on Friday to say, oh, we got to know this test. Start studying tonight. If you need me, reach out to me, 412-655-3111, extension 3105. Send me an email, moms, dads, any questions that you have, I am here. All right, take care, behave. As always, go Eagles.